Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to It's Rainmaking Time. This is Kim Greenhouse. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Rich Bergstrom. He is the founder of an incredible company called Ceramcor. We're going to be dealing with an aspect today of health and wellness that most people overlook. Well, you're going to want to pay very close attention today. Ceramcor was created to provide ceramic cookware so that there are no chemicals leaching into your food. Rich Bergstrom represented Corning Glass Works, the finest ceramics company in the world, and the makers of Corning Ware Cookware, Pyrex Bakeware, and Corel Dinnerware. He's had a huge amount of experience in this industry and in the business. Let's find out about this healthy cookware. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Rich Bergstrom to It's Rainmaking Time. Good morning.
Good morning, and it's wonderful to be here.
Well, the first thing I want to ask you is, what is it that we need to know about cookware that is eluding us?
99.9% of all the cookware being sold in the United States, if not the whole world, is made of metal. And that could be either aluminum, cast iron, and stainless steel. Very durable. All those metal cookware companies make a very high-quality, durable product, and that basically is the sole function. And that metal cookware also does a great job of transferring heat, so you can caramelize onions and you can make eggs, and it's a very quick process. But metal cookware does not add any value to the cooking experience. It's not going to enhance the flavor of cooking. That's why in a lot of the cooking shows, they have these prominent chefs. Everybody's tuned into the chef, and they love the way they cook and their personality. But the cookware they're using, they're not really spending a lot of time talking about that unless they're selling it, obviously, to make a profit. But they talk about their recipes and who they are and where they went to school. But the cookware itself will not make the food taste better. The only cookware that'll actually make the food taste better would be ceramic cookware. And the reason that would be is because when you cook with ceramics, there's no leaching of heavy metal. A lot of people, what they don't realize is that aluminum, cast iron, stainless steel can all leach heavy metals, especially if it's not a high-quality metal cookware. That can leach heavy metals into the food. It's not going to enhance the flavor of the food. Ceramic is the only material that will not leach heavy metal into the food, especially Xtrema, because we go through extensive testings to make sure that none of our cookware products leaches any heavy metal into the food.
Now, can I just stop you for just a moment here about the leaching part?
Right.
When I hear that word, I usually think, well, if you scratch the pot or the pan, that's how it leaches. Can it leach without scratching it?
Absolutely, and depending upon the quality of the cookware, and I'll talk about that a little bit, because there are different degrees. You can get cookware at any department store or mass merchant, meaning a Kmart or a Target, and it could be $9.99 aluminum cookware, very soft metal. It may not be high quality, and if you just cook eggs in that, or if you cook an acid-based food like tomato sauce, that'll actually pull the metal into the food from the metal pan, so you're going to get this metallic taste. And a lot of people say, my doctor tells me, if I cook in cast iron, I'm going to get iron into my food. And that's the biggest misconception in cookware today. There's two types of iron. There's ferrous iron, and then there's ferric iron. The ferrous iron is the iron that you get from, spinach and your vegetables and your foods that you cook. But the ferric iron is the iron that you get from cookware that is not bioavailable, meaning it just passes through your system, and it could be very toxic. So you have any autoimmune problems, say you have Crohn's disease or you have Alzheimer's, and you have toxicity buildup. When you cook in cast iron, you get a tremendous amount of iron in your food that is not bioavailable. It can be very toxic to you. So when a doctor says cook in cast iron, they do not know what they're talking about. There's no benefit from cooking in cast iron to get the proper iron nutrients into your body when you cook with cast iron. And the same thing when you cook with stainless steel cookware that is not high quality, and there's a lot of high quality stainless steel cookware out there, but if it's not, then you have a tendency, you can get an overload of nickel and chromium, which makes stainless steel so unique, but that can get leached into your food, and if you have an adversity to either nickel or chromium toxicity, then that would not be a good metal to have in your body as well. Because, once again, any metal you get from cookware is not bioavailable means it has no value to your body at the cellular level. And only nutrients that are bioavailable, that's what helps us grow and keeps our immune system. But if you bring in that overload of heavy metal, then you could have autoimmune problems, systemic problems that could affect your overall health.
Talk a little bit about the ceramic. What is the material that you use?
First of all, ceramic material, people have been cooking with ceramics going back 5,000 to 8,000 years. Even before the Iron Age metal was developed, they were cooking in ceramic clay pots. And obviously clay is from the Earth's crust, the minerals. It's inorganic minerals that are from the first layer of the Earth's crust. And those inorganic materials are compiled, and they're mixed with clay, they're mixed with kaolin, refractory clay, and various other inorganic minerals. And then you make this clay material, which is fired, depending upon the temperature that you fire clay, can make the difference between something that would be considered pottery, which is fired at a lower temperature, or something that is made of earthenware, vibrant colors, may be fired at only 900 degrees Fahrenheit. And the different levels of the temperature that you fire the clay at gives it its strength properties. So you have pottery, you have earthenware, then you have which commonly known as stoneware. A lot of dinnerware that you see that people have in their homes is made of stoneware. Has a lot of attractive colors. It's pretty thick. It's kind of chunky, heavy. You see that at a lot of restaurants. That's fired at about 1,100 degrees Fahrenheit, very hot. When you get into our product, which is Xtrema, we fire that at 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit, which gives it its great thermal properties. And this is what's very interesting. I remember my days when I was with Corning. You can melt aluminum at about 1,500 to 1,900 degrees. You can melt stainless steel at about 22 to 2,400 degrees Fahrenheit. Our ceramic material can take temperatures between 2,500 and 2,700 degrees Fahrenheit. We could actually melt aluminum in stainless steel in our cookware and then pour it out, and it won't even stick to the surface of our cookware. It's the thermal properties of ceramic that makes it so unique, and which makes the cooking experience so much more pleasurable, because you're generating far infrared energy. And people say, well, what does that mean? It's a technical term.
I was just going to ask you that, actually.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to just say, here's the definition of far infrared energy, and people say, wow, I get it. I've talked with people who are in the industry, and they say that the best way to describe far infrared energy is to say when somebody goes outside and the sun is shining, that's far infrared energy. And you could feel that heat. You can't see it, but you can feel it, and actually goes right through your clothing. Let's say you're skiing somewhere out in Colorado, and it's 20 degrees outside, and you have a ski jacket on. You get up to the top of the chair, and you start skiing down. Well, suddenly you start to perspire. Well, that sun, because you're such a high altitude, actually the heat penetrates your clothing, and you can feel that warmth right on the first layer, on the outer layer of your skin. Well, ceramic material generates that far infrared energy by the properties, the ceramic properties of the cookware. So this energy is bouncing all throughout the cooking vessel, and it actually penetrates the food as it's cooking. So it helps seal in the nutrients. When you cook with metal, whether it's aluminum, cast iron, stainless steel, it's very similar like on a barbecue grill. The surface that is closest to the flame, the burner, the heat, it burns the food from the outside in. When you put a steak on a cast iron skillet, the side that is down on the cooking surface is the side that gets charred or starts to cook. You have to keep turning that over to get the other side cooked. When you cook with ceramics, the heat penetrates the food, so it goes through the food and then it seals it in, so it actually enhances the flavor of the food. And the best way, I could talk about that, but the testimonies and the people that we sell our cookware to, and they come back and they say, listen, you cook an egg in our Xtrema, then cook an egg in something else, metal. And then you tell me, or you look at the color, the clarity, and then you tell me what egg tastes better. And I said, the proof is in the pudding, it's in the taste. There's a lot of cookware out there that'll cook eggs faster, and the pan may be less expensive, but if you're looking at getting something that's going to make your food taste better, and you're not a Bobby Flay or a Rachel Ray, and you want the food to taste better without being a chef, then we recommend that you use ceramics, because it just enhances the overall flavor of the food, whether you're making soups, your stews, pies, because you don't have to worry about any metal leaching into your food.
I'd like to talk to you about the non-scratch pans versus, what are the names of the pans where you have like a non-scratch surface?
the cookware out there today, all